Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about a new account that M1 Finance is coming out with. It's a checking account that pays 1.5% annual percentage interest, which is insane for a checking account. Most checking accounts don't even pay half a percentage. So that's pretty big news, and it reminded me a few months ago when Robinhood, or maybe it wasn't even a few months ago, but Robinhood came out with an announcement that they were going to open up a checking and savings account that paid 3% interest, which everybody was going crazy. Like my favorite finance YouTubers were all over it, and then we found out that the accounts wouldn't be would not be insured by the FDIC, but instead Robinhood claimed that the accounts would be insured by the SIPC, which is the Security Investor Protection Court. And I'm going to make some comparisons here before I go into M1 Finance's new account. So basically, members of the SIPC, which Robinhood would have is a member of, pay into a fund, and this fund is there to protect their own customers in case the financial firm fails, such as Robinhood or any other financial firms that are putting into this fund. Those would be the members, is all these financial firms that are insured by the SIPC. Now, if a financial firm fails, what would happen first is the SIPC would attempt to transfer the assets to another financial firm. Such as, so let's say Robinhood failed, maybe they would try and transfer it to another bank. Let's say, I don't know, Charles Schwab is, I'm sure Charles Schwab is an SIPC member. So let's say they would try and transfer those assets to Charles Schwab or something like that, Charles Schwab Bank. And if they could not find someone who would be willing to take that transfer of wealth, then the SIPC would attempt to liquidate to get all the assets it can. And then if there's a difference between the amount that's owed to the customers and the amount that was obtained by the SIPC in that liquidation, when they liquidated that firm, then the SIPC is allowed to, by law, to borrow against the U.S. Treasury to make up the difference if necessary. So now the FDIC and the SIPC actually does not operate the same way. They're very different. The SIPC, unlike the FDIC, is not a regulatory body. So it's not an organization that regulates. So that's one difference. The other difference is that the SIPC does not provide full protection against fraud like the FDIC does. So those are just some differences. Now, why Robinhood went wrong was they did not contact the SIPC to tell them about these new checking and savings accounts before making the announcement. And that really ticked a lot of people off, because now there were doubts about whether or not it would even be insured, and people aren't going to, after, learning about the Great Depression, the banks failing in the Great Depressions, in the late 1920s, a lot of people don't want to put money in a bank unless they know it's insured. And then more news came out saying that Robinhood would have a lot of regulatory hurdles to overcome before they could, bring out that 3% interest checking and savings account. So a lot of people, a lot of people were also upset about that, and then Robinhood decided to dial it back and cancel the whole launch. Now, M1 Finance, it looks like this is going to go a bit better, and the offer that M1 Finance is giving is a bit more realistic. So if you look here, there's different plans. Alright, so you see that the M1 standard plan is zero, it's free, right? But because it's free, you don't get any interest or cash back from your card. And it covers your ATM fees once per month. Now, M1 Plus, which looks like a pretty good deal to me, is it's $125 a month, the regular price. But for right now, though, if you reserve, you can pay $50. I'm sorry, not $125 a month. It's $125 a year. All right, so it's an annual fee of $125, and of course this $0 fee is annual. Not that that matters to anybody. Right now, if you reserve, you can pay $50 in annual fees to be able to utilize this account. Now, the interest per year is 1.5, which is excellent for a checking account. In fact, I haven't looked at all the banks, but I haven't seen any checking accounts that come close to that. I think the best I saw was maybe about 0.5% interest, and I think there was a minimum balance for that. Now, with this, there is, if you can see down here, there is no minimum balance to avoid the monthly fee. So there are no monthly fees. You're only paying the annual fee here. So they give you a debit card, which, you know, if you get the standard, it's plastic. Sorry. And then the other one is tungsten metal. I don't know how to pronounce that. Tungsten metal, maybe? I don't know. Who knows? But I never knew that debit cards could be made of anything else. I don't know if it's actually going to be metal or if it's going to be like a metal-like surface. You know, looks like metal, but it's not really. I don't know. But anyway, sounds pretty nice. But the debit card gives you 1% cash back, right? So you get 1.5 annual percentage interest. So let's say you had a balance in that account of, I'll bring my calculator here so you can see it. Let's say you had a balance over here in your account annually for an average of $1,500 in your checking. Now I hope everyone has more in the bank than this, but so $1,500 balance in checking, right? So if you had that average every year, you would pull in about $22.50 a year. All right, so in order to get your money's worth on the APY to cover that fee, you're going to have a bigger balance. So let's go up to $5,000. All right, so at $75, getting a little warmer, so we're probably going to have about $10,000 in the checking account in order to actually make up for the $125 a year fee. So let's see. Whoops. Let's go ahead and try this again. $150. So now at that point, you know, with $10,000, you'd be covered. You'd cover your fee with just interest alone. I'm not really a fan of keeping that much in checking, but if the interest is that good, then I guess it's okay. But you definitely want to have a savings account too. Ally Bank savings account pays 2.2% interest, which is pretty good. Now, there is something else though. One other factor here. All right, so you get 1% cash back for the debit card whenever you spend. So let's say you spend $1,500 a month. All right, so see 1% of that, you get $15 cash back. So that would pay for the $125 fee alone. All right, because I took that. I figured out how much 1% of $1,500 would be, and then since it's on a per month basis, I multiplied it by 12. So this would actually be enough. So if you spend at least $1,500 a month with the debit card, you would get your money back and then some. So, and I use a debit card. I don't have any credit cards. That's one of the reasons why I've done so well financially. I cut up my credit card a few years ago, and I just didn't look back. But this is really good though for those of us who like debit cards, and it gives you 4 times per month, you know, to have your ATM fees covered, which is also good. Now banks like Ally cover up to a certain dollar amount of ATM fees. I can't remember. I think it's like $20 or something. If you're looking for a new bank and you don't want to go through this rigmarole of paying these fees, then you can go to something like Ally Bank and get good deals. Like they have a checking account, and then they have a savings account that I think pays 2.2% APY right now, which is really good. So if you look here at the traditional banks, you know, traditional banks are just, you know, I have a lot of stock in traditional banks, but they really, you know, they don't really give you as much because they have a lot more overhead, you know, as opposed to these online banks like M1, you know, like this account's going to be, and Ally. So while I'm here, I'm going to also just take a look at my portfolios. Well, it's like I got logged out. I'll log right back in. See how my portfolios are doing today, just so you guys can see. So my REIT portfolio is up 0.51%, and my dividend portfolio is down 0.14%. And right now, I already had it up here. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so Dow's up by 0.1. The and the S&P 500 is down 0.28%. So like if you combine my whole portfolio between the dividend portfolio and the REIT portfolio, my REIT is up again 0.51%. So if you put those two together, because they're about 60-40 in my whole, when you look at my whole portfolio, 60% of it's REITs, 40% of it is my dividend stocks. I'm beating both the market and SP, Dow Industrial Index, and then also my and that's what I use. I put both of these together when I compare to the stock market as a whole. But when I look at the S&P 500, I only compare my dividend portfolio to it. And even though it's down a little bit, it is still up. It's still doing better than the S&P 500 today. So I was up yesterday when the market was down. So I think I'm probably going to have another week where I outperform the S&P again. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, I just wanted to cover this and so that all of you would be aware. They're going to be releasing this account later this year. So just so you can you can buy it early for $50 if you think you're going to use this enough and have a big enough balance to help cover these fees. Unless you're going to be able to do enough in benefits to cover these fees, you probably shouldn't do it yet. But anyway, though, so I do have all my bills are on auto pay through my bank. It'd be kind of a pain for me to switch over, but I'm probably going to do it anyway, just because I want that 1% cash back, and I like the interest. I would have a high enough cash balance, and and spend enough to be able to bank up for the fees. So this is the first time I've ever actually considered using a bank account with an annual fee, because I think the benefits here are good enough for me, at least, are warranted. So in any event, though, I appreciate y'all watching. I hope this is helpful to you. This is m1finance.com is where you can get more information about it. You just go to the home page, and then you log in if you have an account. If not, you can get started. I actually have a referral link in the I'm gonna have a referral link in this description. If you choose to sign up for M1 Finance, I ask that you use my referral link, because then I'll get a little bit of money deposited into my brokerage account, so I'd be able to use to invest. So. But once you log in, you'll see spend, and it'll say new right here, and just click on that, and that's where you get the information about and you see this is FDIC insured, unlike what Robinhood was announcing. So I don't know if M1 Finance watched what Robinhood did and learned from their mistake, or if they were already planning on doing it the right way from the very beginning. I'd much rather have FDIC insurance than SIPC for a checking account. If you had a securities account, it's a little bit of a different story, but I'm not going to go there. But for this, though, this is great, FDIC insured. So anyway, I hope that this video was helpful to you, and that if you think that this will benefit you, I would definitely encourage you to sign up for M1 Finance through my referral link that I'll have in the description below the video. And I hope you all have a great day, and God bless.